Hi guys, I am Sophia the Tarot Reader. For the purpose of those who don't know me, just quickly run over who I am and what I do. I'm a professional tarot reader, so I work for various different platforms and I have gone through the good, the bad and the ugly in respect to the baptisms of fire when it comes to becoming a professional reader. So I've kind of made it my mission to help other people do it with a lot greater ease and share some hints and tips on how to do that. Two things I'm going to cover. First one is answering Amy B's question, and the second one is sending you away with a little bit of homework. Okay, so Amy B, just by the way, ask away. I would far rather you post questions and communicate me, and I'll make a video on it because I think at least you're going to get a good authentic answer. So in answer to Amy's question, what she was asking basically is, what do you do when somebody comes to you and asks you for a reading in an area that you don't specialize in? So for example, Amy was trying to get across that she uses the tarot and tapping into the subconscious in order to provide a read. She doesn't want to get into the, you know, feeling like there's somebody in the room whispering in the ear and providing our information and talking to people who've passed. That's fine. There's other readers who can do that. So what I would say is with that, Amy, literally just make sure that when you are putting out there what type of reader you are, you just make sure you set your stall out. So for me, I am an empath or a clairsentient tarot reader. That's the official way I present that across. And I specialise in people. So that is relationships, that is friendships, family, career, well-being. And I stick to my lane. So that's what I would say for you, is just make sure that you set out straight away what type of reader you are in a very small summary, and then stick to your lane. So I hope that answers your question. All right, so next thing, I think what's really eye-opening for people when they first start is to go away and have some readings. The reason I say that is because I think, you know, especially if you're like me, I put a lot of pressure on myself to make sure that I give people the full experience. So not only is that through treating every person with respect, and even though I may have spoke to 20 people in one day, it is the first time they're talking to me, so I make sure that their experience is as enjoyable if they're caller number 20 as opposed to caller number 1, and that's important. It's the same when I'm one-on-one with people as well. You know, when I'm looking at people, I never slouch my body language. I'm very aware of that because at the end of the day, this is their first impression of me and I want it to count. But with that said, what's very interesting is not everyone cares that much. Now, when I first started, and way back when I started working for a particular line, and I was having a look on the little grid, and I was looking at all the different readers, and there was a guy who was really popular. I was like, okay, I need to know what he's doing and I need to know what his style is, because I need to know kind of what my yardstick is, I suppose. What I was really disappointed with when I read with him was the fact that in the first 30 seconds, I just said, I would like a love reading. And instead of him asking me questions, see, I don't see a reader who asks questions as someone who doesn't know what they're doing. I think it is a reader who knows and understands that context is really important when it comes to interpretation, because something can mean something entirely different without the context. He just rattled off so many different statements that would relate to me. Potentially it was almost like throwing comments at me and hoping that something would stick. There's loads of Barnum statements in there. Again, if you're not sure what a Barnum statement is, it's things that would likely relate to you. You can Google that. I'll not waste the clock by going through that, but and also using questioning techniques, which I would say was quite sinister. I think that's the way I would put it. But what struck me the most fascinating was, now bearing in mind, I am a tarot nerd, I know every spread there is, but when you're doing tarot, you have to reshuffle the cards. I get my customers to choose the cards for me. And this guy, in the first couple of minutes of our call, had thrown a lot of information at me, none of which any of it really was relative to me, because my question that I asked him wasn't a real question to start off with. Alarm bells. But also the second one was the fact that he'd done an entire Celtic cross within the first 2 minutes of our call. Worrying, really worrying. So what I would say is, you know, sometimes just being an average mediocre reader who hits on a couple of things that make sense has gained a lot of momentum and popularity. Those reviews have then fed in more people to ring, and so on and so on. And I think one of the reasons, without kind of honking my own horn, when I first started working on the lines, for example, my popularity grew straight away. And I think it was because I'm no nonsense, I'm no smoke and mirrors, I'm no, oh, there's a man running to you with a ring and you're going to have to make a choice and you're really going to hit a crossroads and all it. No, I'm very much the case of, right, okay, so I'm going to give you this information. This is not my opinion. This is, you know, what the cards are telling me. And you are going to have to come to the point where you make a difficult decision. And that decision is something, etc., etc. Whereas I think people sell people a fairy tale, and that to me is concerning in itself, because when those things do not materialize, especially if you're speaking to someone who is, for example, very vulnerable, that's going to leave them extremely disappointed. So buy yourself maybe a 20-30 quid bundle, go fish, whether it's in person, whether it's online, whether it's a messaging app, however you do it, just go ahead and have a go at having some readings. I would say leave it where you ask the most weird and wonderful questions that aren't actually necessarily relative to you, because it's interesting the answers that come up and the things that people make the assumptions about. It's also a little bit naughty because, you know, at the end of the day, I've had this done to me. I can spot them a mile off now, but it's just interesting. Even if you make the question very real, you know, just asking questions and to see how they then come at you with the answer. And I think what you'll come to realise is, don't put so much pressure on yourself about being absolutely perfect at this, because there's some absolutely horrendous people out there making a real name for themselves by doing it badly. Mind, I must say there are also some absolutely awesome ones too, and I think that's the purpose of it, so you can get like a kind of a real, you know, different end of the scale between the ones who are, you know, just doing this purely for the passion and the love of the tarot, and the ones who are doing it for the money. Drop your comments below when you've went and had a look. I'm really interested to find out what people's experiences are. And again, if you have any more questions, drop it in the comments below and I'll do my best to record a video. Like and subscribe and press the bell, and that'll give you a notification when I do another video. Hope this helps you guys. Anything else, just let me know. All right, peace out.